You're all invited to the Slumber Party Massacre Luncheon.
We'll tear your soul apart.
Accept this, Michael. Be one of us.
Oh!
Death has come to your little town, Sheriff. You can either ignore it, or you can help me to stop it.
Candyman.
All right, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Slumber Party Massacre Luncheon. I am one of your hosts, Rob.
And I'm the other one, Hunter.
And this week, we're going to be talking a decade of horror.
Yeah, we're going to go to the 80s. And, I was a little intimidated because, I'm newer in my horror, and I was prepared to have a lot of blanks here. And admittedly will when it comes to the literature side of things, which we can obviously throw to our buddy Brad. But, I was very nervous that I would have to scramble to come up with five. And it turns out not even in the slightest, not even close.
Wow.
The more that I looked at 80s horror, the more that I've kind of come to this conclusion. And tell me what you think. I think that the 80s were the golden age of horror.
To me, the 80s were horror.
Okay. And listen, I think that there is good horror that comes prior to, obviously. I mean, obviously with the 70s, you've got Alien in the 70s. There's great horror in the 70s. With I think Jaws was in the 70s.
Yeah.
Hitchcock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think for what both in volume and in quality that the 80s put out, I would almost go to say unmatched. Like when you look at the Mount Rushmore of every decade, when you look at top 10s in every decade, I don't think that there's another.
Look at top 10s in general.
Yeah, agreed.
Five to six of those movies are going to come from the 80s.
Absolutely. I don't know, and I think this will be a more controversial take, but I don't think that there's another decade that comes close to the 80s other than the one maybe that we're in right now. I think that we're getting a renaissance in horror.
Yes, I'd agree.
And the part that I kind of hate, or not hate, but like I'm going to call it the 2020s, although I think you could scrape back 2 years and go back maybe in that 2017 forward era. But like, I think that where we're in that 2015 to now brick, I think is sort of the renaissance of horror where
I would agree.
And I would even go so far as to say that, like, we'll talk about this in another episode, but I think studios, bringing this back to the 80s, I think studios now, the reason why we're seeing such success now is I think that we're seeing movie studios take the formula, like the financial 80s. Formula from the 80s. Because we went so long where we had, I don't really want to give you money to make that niche or whatever horror because people want to see Avengers. They want to see dinosaurs. They want to see Fantastical. They want to see Vin Diesel talking about family.
Yeah,
and
they want to see Harry Potter. They want to see
exactly. Yeah. And they didn't want to spend the money. And then the niche money that they were going to spend was that Oscar hit, that one or two that they could say, no one's going to see this, but we want an Oscar for it.
Yeah, let's put some money in our back pocket to put a prosthetic nose on Steve Carell.
That's it. And so now that you've got the rise of Blumhouse and the rise of, A24, I think that is now sort of the renaissance.
And what's the company that did Talk to Me and Bring Her Back? They're great. They're ID House. something. I don't know. But those two movies are fucking. It's funny you mentioned. I do think the prior decade was like a horror renaissance. I think now though we are entering like a new age of horror.
Okay.
Bring Her Back is unlike anything I've ever fucking seen.
Really?
Really.
Okay. I've heard that.
Bring Her Back is unlike anything I've ever seen. It is an absolute gut punch of a fucking movie, dude.
And, I'm going to bring this back to the 80s since that's what this episode is about.
Yeah. I just thought, while we're bringing it up.
No. But I think talking about what you just talked about, talking about Bring Her Back, if you think about some of the abstract horror that we have, think Substance, right? Substance is an absolutely fantastic movie of this decade. It feels very 80s in origin. If you took aside the quality of the graphics, if you took aside all that and you just pitched it and you said, throw a dart, where do you think this lands? Do you think this is in the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, the 10s, the 20s? What do you think it is? I think people may throw it in that 80s category because I thought the 80s was really hot on body horror. We talked about this in that episode.
Yeah, dude. And the thing about the 80s was that makes it very cool and like this new age that we're entering is in the 80s every horror film felt, not every, but a lot of them felt like just this guy had a cool fucking idea.
That's what I think. That's why I think that the era that we're in now feels very 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And three reasons why. Number one is that I think it is I've got a cool idea.
Yep.
I've got a cool idea, and it's not like it's popular. It's just this idea that I have.
Cool fucking idea.
It's a well fleshed out idea. And that I think my number two is practical effects. I think we're getting away from because I think that was maybe something that your early 2000s
just absolutely fucking murdered horror movies with CGI.
I think it did, and then I think in your 2010s they didn't know what it needed to be, because I think that they heard the sort of like I don't like what you have. Yeah. I don't like this. Yeah. And so I think that they tried to course correct and they didn't know what they wanted to get. But then towards the end of the 2010s, again, that's when I think we started to see direct debuts that, like, with Peel and some others that sort of came out of the woodwork. Some new blood came in that I think really took over. But yeah, so I think that, those are two of the reasons. And the third being the studio, again, mentioning that I think that, and that sort of lends itself to the first point of that cool idea, is that I think absolutely. That now we've got niche studios, and I take Blumhouse, or Blumhouse. What is it, Blumhouse? Or?
I say Blumhouse.
Okay. I think Blumhouse is one that I've always admired, although I tend to love A24 far more.
Oh, for sure.
I really like Blumhouse because Blumhouse did exactly what you talked about with the really cool idea. Yes. And they said, we're not in the business to make, we are not even interested in making these $100 million movies. You pitch us that 10 million, that 20 million, that 50 million, and that's on the high side. You pitch us that movie. We know it's not going to make, and they have their breakout stars, obviously, but we're not looking to double and triple. We're looking to make good money back, and they did that for a while. I think the pandemic kind of threw them off a little bit, but if you think about it, Blumhouse was the
they were the new Grindhouse.
They were the new Grindhouse. They were. I think that they were the ones who started the Shyamalans, the Renaissance of Shyamalan.
Yes,
I think
dude.
that he did his thing where he was kind of a dick to everybody who he knew he was good, and
Right.
he had maybe a perceived amount of he was better than even he was,
And then he
and
flopped a
was.
couple.
I think he flopped more than a couple, but then Blumhouse brought him back and did that one with like the
The elevator.
like, and then the like the boy, the
The grandparents.
the grand, yes, yeah, that one.
Yes.
And so I think that they give, and so it's all very, to me, when I see the rise of that and the rise of where we're at now, it feels very 80s. It feels very, again, watching the substance and the practical effects in that.
Oh my gosh, dude.
And just, I think that we're finally, it feels very much back to where we were.
Yeah, you're 100% right about the substance. Like, the substance could have been made in 1987 and it would have been fucking let me think of some old bitch then.
Starring Demi Moore. I mean, I think that I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the Margaret Qualley role was. I think it's Demi. But yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, that's where I was going with.
She's
the irony of like just put her in that one.
Yeah. She's the Margaret Qualley, and the Demi Moore role is just that old bitch from On Golden Pond or something.
That's it. Yeah. So So I mean, I think that I like where we're at now, and I think that more than almost any decade, it feels reminiscent and like it's got its inspiration from the 80s. And so, I think we could talk now about like what it is in the 80s that was that secret sauce.
Man. To me, what's your relationship to 80s horror? Like,
I love it.
Okay. To me, 80s horror feels like home.
Okay.
80s horror feels nostalgic in a way that's grounding. Like,
yeah,
it was just like 80s horror was just all over my home growing up. Like, it's the first films my dad showed me. I remember staying at my grandmother's house, my mom's mom, who was absolutely out of her fucking mind. But like, she owned 2 VHSs. One of them was Lost Boys and the other one was Phenomena. Like,
wow.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
That was my grandmother.
Okay. I think my introduction to the 80s horror was more in my preteens.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that my early days of horror was the 90s.
For sure.
The 90s horror, which does not have the library even close to the 80s.
No.
But it does have some that have good nostalgia factors.
They're bangers.
I would say across the board, set aside horror, but the 90s to me was a sort of identity crisis in film.
Yo, 100%. Yeah.
I think if you look, it had like you can show me a movie and not tell me what, like a movie I've never seen before.
And I'll tell you where.
And I'll tell you that was the 90s, wasn't it?
Yep. And this hunk of shit won an Oscar, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that across the board, whether it be horror, whether it be comedy, whether it be thriller, I think that the 90s had its identity, and I that was the sort of like, oh, I accidentally saw that, or that was on like, my story with Anaconda, I think that that's kind of what I saw a lot of as like a kid. And maybe that's why I think the 80s was such, like, I have such a fondness for, is because it was like then I became a teenager, and I would go to these, like Slumber Party.
Yeah, dude.
And
what's
someone would put
coming on after midnight?
Yeah, the mom would go pick us up something from Blockbuster, and it would be one that was, a slasher or whatever, and put that on. I think that for me was like, no, damn, why is this a decade after or decade before, and it feels fresher?
Oh, that's a good point. You can put on a movie from the 80s, a horror movie from the 80s, and it'd be something you're not even ready for. Like
that too. Yeah.
But the 90s was very formulaic. Like
it was. It also felt like dark, and not dark in the sense of like tonally.
Yeah.
Dark visually. Like they tried to. It was almost like grunge, but for film.
Ooh, that's a great way to put it. Yeah, it was a Pearl Jam video. Yeah,
it had a little of everything.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah, you had creature features, you had slashers, you had paranormal. Some of the best paranormal films. You had
religious horror, horror comedy,
a whole subgenre, I would say, of insect horror in the 80s.
Yes. So I think that's why I was so excited for this one, is just
celebrate.
Yeah, it's sort of a celebration of where. So I think I go back to where we are and where we were. I think it's a really good. I think the 80s is a really good moment to take a look back at where we came from.
Yes.
To develop where we are right now. Because again, I do think we're in a renaissance for horror. Absolutely. I think we are seeing things that are coming out that we've not seen anything quite like it since the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could almost skip everything in between.
Yeah.
And you'd be happy.
So, let me ask you this. When we get ready to do our top 5, I'm going with films that are not necessarily the best scary movies of the 80s, but are just so 80s.
I'm more in line with what you're saying. I think for me, it's not the best. It's my favorite.
Okay.
So I like to do this a lot where like people would say like, oh, what's your favorite Star Wars movie?
Right.
And I'm like, I obviously think that The Empire Strikes Back is the best film of the original trilogy. And yet it's number 3 for me. Yes. Not number 3, the Sith, but the original trilogy.
Right.
So number 6. I think that Return of the Jedi is my favorite. And I think that's how I'm going to do my list here, is that it's not that I'm claiming what's the best.
These are my favorites.
What I think, these are my favorites. And I do think that they tend to be the most 80s.
Me too.
But I think that the funniest part is that I would be shocked if we're going to have up to 10 entries, although I think that there's no way we don't have crossover here. But I think we're going to have up to 10 here, and I'm willing to guess that at least 5 are previously stated.
Probably, yeah, more than likely.
And they may not be on another number 5, but I think they're going to be mentioned.
100%. Yeah, 100%. So with that, should we move into our tomes?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
The Tomes of Darkness.
You can't talk about 80s horror without talking about the king.
I said in our last podcast that I don't. I am new to horror. I can tell you right now I don't have any 80s horror to talk about. And I don't think that the comic side of things was that big at the time. So I'm really interested to hear from you. But I did do some research and I took a look. And you're going to see the same names in horror over. You're going to see King. You're going to see Kuntz.
Yep.
And so, talk to me about, because I know that you did read, you did read a lot of 80s horror. So talk to me about what that was like for you.
Again, just these sleeveless, dusty hardbacks on the top shelf that I couldn't reach, man. Right up there by on the spine by King. Further down the shelf, of course, was fucking Rice. And Rice, man. And Rice made vampires sexy.
Okay.
She fuck a Twilight. She took vampires and made them rock stars. She made them elegant. She put them in gothic settings, with just full of excess and decadence, and it really explored the aristocracy throughout decades with her Lestat books.
Okay.
That's the Vampire Lestat and Queen of the Damned.
I am just now realizing I'm making that connection.
Yeah, she did Queen of the Damned, Vampire. Well, Vampire Lestat's called Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah. Yes.
And then
which has had the original and the remake.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, it may have even has it had 3? Anyway,
there's a series.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a series now. Another big heavy hitter in the 80s that you're going to see a lot. Clive Barker.
Yep.
Books of Blood. The Hellbound Heart is what Hellraiser was based on.
Oh, okay.
Books of Blood I've never read. I know the covers of them very well.
Can we take a pause right here?
Let's do it.
I did a little bit of research because I didn't want to totally come into this conversation and just sit on this podcast and do nothing. And so I did a little bit of research and I looked at horror books of the 80s. I don't think that a single decade does covers better than the 80s.
Fact, dude.
I have right now. I've got an article up that is specifically about the covers from the 80s. The covers arts from 80s horror is just
stunning.
It's unmatched. And it's got a lot in here that we both know, Pet Sematary.
Look at Books of Blood, dude. I used to just
it's in here.
I used to just sit and look at the cover, dude.
It is in here. Beneath Still Waters. The Fungus is great.
I don't know if I'm familiar with the Fungus.
I'll send you this article, but the cover alone, it reminds me of that. It reminds me of that retelling of the Fall of the House of Usher that we talked about.
Yeah.
It has a very similar, like, that came to mind when I looked at this cover.
That person, often their covers are pretty reminiscent of the 80s.
Oh, they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you've got, of course, Stephen King's right-hand man, Peter Straub. They teamed up on a bunch of stuff together in the 80s. The Talisman. Well, I say a bunch of stuff. I think it was like 2 things. The Talisman. I don't think King helped him with Ghost Story, but Ghost Story is probably Straub's biggest book written by himself. Let's see.
Dan Simmons, Carrying Comfort. The Nest. Gregory Douglas.
I'm telling you, dude.
Also a great cover. You know, it's funny you mentioned earlier when we were doing our rundown, and you talked about that subgenre
I'm with you there.
of insect horror. A lot of books were big in the insect horror. Actually, the more that I'm looking at these lists and reading them, I think the rise of creature features was from the literary horror of the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about like where we are as a society, a lot of our popular concepts come out movie wise a little bit delayed and after, maybe a decade after, half a decade after.
One other thing I'd like to
they
mention
are popular
about
in book, and so that makes sense to me.
Literature,
that, like the rise of the creature features in the 90s and early 2000s
subgenre called
would stem
Bizarro.
from
Are you familiar?
the literary horror of the insects and creatures and things like that in the 80s. I am. Yeah, actually, you and your brother introduced me, and I like it a lot.
Yes. Bizarro, for those that don't know, is literally an author writing the wildest shit he can think of. And that is the only requirement of Bizarro literature is it's a writer going absolutely full tilt, balls to the wall into weird. One of the blueprints for that is Hellbound Heart. You've also got Kathy Koja, The Cypher, John Skip and Craig Spector, The Light on the End, or The Light at the End.
Yeah.
Punk rock, vampire splatter. It's just all great stuff, and that also leads into splatter punk, which is just as bloody as you can make it, monsters, sleazy. And then as far as comics, I'm not super familiar.
Yeah.
The only thing that jumped out at me comics-wise was Vampirella. And that's just because I'm a vampire nerd.
I think that you hadn't, in the 80s, you obviously hadn't gotten the rise of your image labels. I don't even know that Dark Horse was there at the time. I think that was still sort of a sub-label under both Marvel. Well, Dark Horse is a sub-label of DC, and I think that those were still DC labels at the time. But I've mentioned this in the past. I think some of I'm trying to think. Give me just a minute.
Swamp Thing.
That's where I was going with this. I'm trying to remember if I'm trying to think if that was that was in the 70s.
Okay.
But it was in a horror like DC had its own horror comic book line that was back in the 70s.
Okay.
And Swamp Thing became its own debut title in 81.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Although I will say those 71 Swamp Thing came out and debuted in the House of Secrets, which one of these days we're going to talk about the 70s. And I will have a lot to talk about with the House of Secrets. And that was, again, that was DC's horror line. And it's a little upsetting because I don't know that they have anything quite like that now. It was very pulpy. It was very...
Yeah.
It had just this sort of like
sort of a noir kind of feel to it.
Oh, very, very much so.
Yeah.
But it was very soapy in a sense of like General Hospital has just been doing an uninterrupted. You don't have this sort of like, okay, we're going to reboot everything with DC. We're going to reboot everything with Marvel. We're going to start over. and they do that every 15 or so years, maybe even 10 years. They didn't do it. It was just one uninterrupted story that just sort of, okay, and now we're going to get into Swamp Thing. Okay, now we're going to go into vampires, and now we're going to do this. And that's what House of Secrets, and I believe Marvel had one too. I don't know what it was,
I'm
but
to check that
in the
stuff
70s. Out. Yeah, and very pulpy. So pulpy.
I'm going to have to check that out.
But, you know, a lot of the horror titles that you think of today spun out of that.
Yeah, for sure.
But I will say that as far as horror goes in comics, it is hard to beat the original storyline to Swamp Thing. It was not it's not the like what you read now, and I say now, the Rebirth era has gotten more like it's gotten back to the horror side of things, which it should. I think there was like a whole point in time where he kind of went missing, and then you had the New 52, which was very superhero-y.
Isn't that the one where he was like in Hollywood and kind of was like doing detective shit or something?
I think you might be thinking of Man Thing.
I'm thinking of Man Thing. Okay.
You're thinking of Man Thing. But yes. Yes, that happened as well.
Got you.
But I think the original storyline to Swamp Thing it's a horror story.
Yeah.
It's you know, this girl's, you know, her dad is just a terrible human being. Actually, DC had its own kind of spin-off TV, like they tried to do the thing where they were going to come up with their own app, and they had its own creative content, and it didn't last long, and now it's all on HBO Max. But they did have a Swamp Thing series.
Ooh.
And it's a limited series. It's very short. And it's not quite based on the original, but it's close enough. Highly recommend it. It is in no way, shape, or form is it that kind of like, ooh, superhero, let's, you know, triumph over. No, it is. You do have some other heroes that, like Blue Devil is in it, which is also a horror. It's a man who is an actor who sold his soul to the devil.
Yeah.
In order to be a better, like to get more credits and stuff like that. And now, you know, he's being tapped. He gets tapped by the devil to have to do certain tasks and things like that. And so that, I think that was a really big cameo that was in it. It was really cool. So, you know, I think the 80s was when you started seeing some of the really good parts of House of Secrets come out and have their own. And again, Swamp Thing's the only thing that I'm thinking of right now, but there was a lot that was out there.
That's
but I think that when we kind of talk about the 70s, I think there's going to be more to talk about.
Yeah. And I guess I don't know, would it be a good time to throw it over to our buddy Brad?
Let's do it.
Midwest Books.
What you got for us, Brad?
Okay, thanks, Brad.
It was like you were here with us the whole time.
It's crazy, man. Man, we miss you.
We'll get him on here one time.
Yeah, we will. All right, should we do a top 5?
Yeah, you lead it.
Time for the top 5.
Starting with 5, I'm going to pick a John Carpenter film. It's the most 80s shit in the world. A John Carpenter film starring Rowdy Roddy Piper and Keith David. I'm going with They Live.
Yep. Oh, that's okay.
Rowdy Roddy Piper finds a pair of sunglasses that allows him to see through the veil that the aliens have created for themselves, and finds out that aliens have been amongst us for years, and him and Keith David are going to take them out.
I love Keith David
He's
so much.
Fucking best. Interesting fact, you know it's not a word that people like to use now. Remember the cripple fight episode on South Park?
Mm-hmm.
That fight is based on the fight between Rowdy Roddy and Keith David. The one that goes on for fucking ever.
Is it really?
It's based on that fight.
I had no clue.
Yeah, it's based on that fight. Fun fact.
That's fantastic.
Because it's one of the longest ass whoopings put to film. And I remember watching the episode of South Park and going, hold on now. Like, I've seen this.
And that's confirmed.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
I love that movie so much. I love Rowdy Roddy Piper. John Carpenter's the fucking man. Yeah, They Live, number 5.
Amazing. I'm going to go with Friday the 13th.
Boom.
Yeah, I think it could be higher for me, but I have a soft spot for the Friday the 13th franchise, specifically the first one. I do love the sort of campiness, no pun intended, but like you have that kind of like, it's very focused on the one area. And I think one of the things that like slashers kind of get wrong is they get larger than life. And we talked about that in in a couple episodes, but like, I think that the 1980 Friday the 13th was great because it was at the camp, and it was very self-contained. And it was horrific.
The time.
Yeah. So I love Friday the 13th as a franchise, but that first one, it's hard. It was so great for me that it wasn't 1979.
Yes.
So I'm glad I got to slip it in.
I think my favorite in the Friday the 13th franchise is the third one.
Okay, yeah.
The one where he gets the mask from the fat theater kid.
Yes.
That's my favorite one, dude.
Okay. Okay.
That's one of the best kills, I think, in the franchise.
Are you sure? Are you sure it's not when he puts some people inside of a sleeping bag?
That's the best kill in the franchise. Fact.
Yeah, facts for sure.
Let's see. So I guess my number 4. My number 4, I'm going with a Lovecraftian tale of love. No, it's not. It's what's the movie with Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver where they just yell at each other for 2 hours?
Yeah, I don't know, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's that plus Lovecraft. I'm talking about the movie Possession.
Oh.
Possession.
I don't think I've seen Possession.
You would love Possession.
I'm sure I would, based on literally what you just said.
Yeah. Possession is Sam Neill comes home from a mysterious spy job to find his wife.
Love Sam Neill.
Yes, dude. And he puts on a fucking clinic. She's acting weird when he gets home. He thinks she's having an affair with another man, and then both of them just start descending into madness, dude. And you don't even know what the monster is.
Oh, okay.
Until the monster shows up. But by the time the monster shows up, you've already realized that the monster is really Someone you love seeing you completely.
Oh, wow, that is not at all what I thought we were going to go with. Okay.
Yeah, it's very.
And this is Possession.
It's called Possession.
Okay.
It's directed by Andrei Zulawski.
Okay.
It's set during the Cold War in Berlin.
Holy Moses. Okay.
It's very gray. It's very cold.
Yeah.
It's very. I love it. I love it. The more and more I'm thinking about it, it's very heavy, but I do love it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my number 4, Possession.
Okay, so for my number 4, I literally could not have gone further from what you just said. And I think that we're going to call this a horror, and if it's not,
all right,
then I have a backup for it. I am going to go with The Little Shop of Horrors.
Horror. Such a good fucking pool, too.
I think that because it's so comedic and lighthearted.
Yeah.
And Rick Moranis.
Yeah. It's Steve Martin.
Mm-hmm. And so I think that, like, for me, I'm going to have to go with Little Shop of Horrors. Because I do want a little bit of levity in
your list.
In my list. And my backup, by the way, was obviously going to be Gremlins.
Right.
But I think that I've got to pull my Rick Moranis in here.
And Little Shop is so 80s.
It is so 80s.
Yes, dude.
And I think there's something fun about, Audrey and Audrey 2.
Absolutely.
And, the practical effects in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna go with Little Shop of Horrors.
Fucking Steve Martin as the sadist dentist.
Yeah,
that's pretty great shit, dude. That's a great pull. That's such a good pull for good one, really good one.
Thank you.
Are we on to 3?
We are on to 3.
Fuck me. Okay.
This is, for me, I think things are going to get really hard.
Things are going to...
1 and 2 were easy for me, but I think 3 is going to get real tough for me.
3 is going to be tough. 3 is going to be...
Just say it.
It's Near Dark. It's Near Dark.
Yeah.
Fucking Western vampires. But Bill Paxton is in this movie as a young man, and it's just about this group of vampires out west.
You've been heavy on vampires this episode, which is fresh. I don't feel like we've done a lot of that.
I like vampires a lot, especially 80s vampires.
Do we need a vampire episode?
Oh, we're gonna do a vampire episode.
I feel like we need a vampire episode. Okay.
We're going to do a vampire episode, dude. Those are, with body horror, those are my favorite.
Okay.
Let's see. Near Dark is just a good old fashioned Western saga, man.
Okay.
I don't want to ruin it too much.
So for my number 3, I think you're gonna agree. I think you're gonna love it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. 1 is fantastic, and 2 takes it in a slightly more or decidedly more comedic direction.
Yeah, slightly more. Some of it on purpose, some of it not. Either way, so 80s.
We've talked about Texas Chainsaw Massacre on at least 2 or 3 episodes, so it's only fitting that we get to slide it into this one as well. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre, for me, is one of the, like, when you talk about a whole series put together, we've talked about the difficult decision between 2 being better than 1, right?
Yes, we have talked about that.
And what are your thoughts on that? On the second one being better than the first? Do you like the first better, or do you think you like the second?
I'm a 1 guy.
Are you? Okay. I'm a 2.
a 1 guy.
I'm a 2.
2 is good. 2 is great.
It's close for me. Yeah.
But I'm a 1 guy. I just love the fucking full throttle of 1.
You know, as someone who's a horror comedy guy, I think that's probably why I like 2 slightly better.
Yeah.
Also, I think that the horror isn't just horror to make you feel better. There are times when they use I said horror. There are times when they use comedy to make you feel worse.
Yes. Yeah. Oh.
Like I'm gonna say, I feel that House of a Thousand Corpses took a lot from the second Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I totally believe that.
Oh,
I think that there is comedy in that movie
that is meant to make you fucking uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. Yeah. With
oh, you're right.
With old Dwight Schrute, and like he's making fun of these people, and he thinks that they don't know it, but they know it, and that's in House of a Thousand Corpses. But I think that like there is funny, like you're meant to laugh at it, and then there's funny, like you're the joke.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are put in the victim's shoes.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good one. What a great.
It does a good balance of both, and I think that that's the thing that those 2 movies do well.
Yeah.
Is you can't have it all be one or the other. You shouldn't have it all be one or the other. I think a lot of movies do that, but I think that you shouldn't have it all be that you're laughing at the screen, or you lose. You know, if you're going to try to be a Little Shop of Horrors, if you're going to try to be, you know, a full-on laughable horror, that's fine. But if you're trying to make people shit themselves, then you need to make people feel uncomfortable, and it does that.
Oh yeah.
And so it does it uses that comedy to make you feel at ease. And I think the way that it tonally shifts it to where you kind of feel tell me, I think that it uses comedy as a weapon.
Yes.
And I think that it uses it to make you feel comfortable.
Yep.
And then slowly starts pulling it away from you.
Yep.
Until you realize that you're the punchline.
Fuck, that's exactly what that feeling is, dude. Holy shit, you just wrapped up that feeling.
Thank you.
That's what that is. It's the joke getting away from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. It's sitting at the dinner table full of schmucks and realizing you're the schmuck.
Yes. So, that is it for me. That's my number 3. These next 2 are going to be like yanking teeth. I know what they are.
Yeah.
I'm struggling on what they're going to be.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we share at least one.
We're probably, so my number 2, it's me. I'm going to have to put it on a list if I have an opportunity to put it on a list. I'm going with The Thing.
I know you are.
Yeah.
And it didn't make my list, but of course it did for you. And I'm
yes, I'm putting it on. If I have an opportunity to put it on.
And again, I say this by saying, if I had a list of the best horror of the 80s, it would be my number 3 spot.
Oh, show.
Easily would be my number 3 spot.
Yep. I'm saying its praises enough. What's your number 2?
Aliens. And almost to the same point, I've sang its praises enough. Like, you know what I mean? We talked about Alien and Creature Feature a lot, but like Aliens is great.
Aliens is awesome.
Another one where you could almost argue that 2's better than 1.
That's that discussion again, man. That's that discussion again.
I am one of those people that I'm going to take the coward's way out, and I'm going to put them on the same podium together, because I think that I actually like 2 better than 1.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me because I think that 1 paved the way for 2.
Absolutely.
So So I put them on the same pedestal together, but yeah, I love it. And the introduction of having that little girl on there, this little stowaway, and
Awesome.
so Sigourney has, because you kind of had that with the cat, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think that the story, I think that the writers probably said people. I don't think that they thought people were going to get nearly as like protective or like, oh my god, I don't want to see this cat get killed. And they were like, let's amp that shit up and put
Let's
a real child in here.
let's make it a little girl.
Yeah, let's make it a child who is innocent
Yeah.
and because you got no problems with this alien coming down and murdering that asshole.
Yeah,
You
not
know what I
really.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no issue with it really.
But the little girl walking through the water with the alien behind her carrying that baby doll.
Is one
You
of the
know,
most scenes.
Sigourney Weaver in the 22nd century forklift machine. The little robot fighting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I'm with you on putting them at the same level because one is straight up the gut horror as good as it can get, and the other is action horror as good as it can fucking get.
Agreed.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
As good as it can get. Good pull.
Thank you.
Good pull. Because of course my brain went to when did Alien come out? And then just stopped after
Yeah. I'm with you, my man.
My number one for the 80s is Evil Dead directed by Sam Raimi.
Yep.
Set the tone for the decade. Made blood in massive amounts cool to put on film, and did not shy away from the most visceral body horror of the age. I'm good with my choice, Evil Dead.
Okay. Fantastic. Another 1980 on the cusp, The Shining.
That is in my honorables for show.
Of course, I think that some of your earlier picks that I haven't seen, not so much, but at least your top three for sure are on my honorables.
Yeah.
So 1980, The Shining. We talked about it in our Stephen King episode. Obviously.
Yes.
What I like about The Shining, multiple reasons. We talked about it with King and his writing is the isolation.
Yeah.
It's such an uncomfortable feeling, and I hate it. It is one of the things that I hate most in life is feeling isolated and no one's near me, and I think that it does it incredibly well.
Agree.
When you talk about a duo of a writer and a director coming together, King and Kubrick, it's hard to top that.
It's hard.
And
Yeah.
I can name you one other, and the movie didn't do it for me, but the other that I can name is Ready Player One with Ernest Cline, my favorite writer and book.
Yeah.
And Spielberg. That's the only other one, which again, it's okay that movie didn't do what it was never going to. It was larger than life. It was never going to be what the book is, but like that's another combo that like you talk about one of the most prolific writers of the 21st century right now who in science fiction is like this dude. So you've got writers, and Stephen King is a great example of this, where he has a book, and as soon as it's out, a studio is going to get those rights, right? Like
yeah, they're snatching them up.
But Stephen King and Ernest Cline are two writers where he has ideas optioned. Like he hasn't begun. So for example, Ernest Cline, it's easy to talk about Ernest Cline because he's only got a handful of books, whereas Stephen King has only 5 books, right? No. So Ernest Cline has, I think he's got Ready Player One, Ready Player Two, Armada, and then he's got some other like short stories in a kid's book. But for all intents and purposes, he's got those 3. Ready Player One, loved Armada. Loved Armada.
Yeah, Armada.
So one, Ready Player One, people loved it. It was obviously picked up.
Sick.
Armada was one where they read it and they immediately gobbled it up. Ready Player 2 was actioned before it was ever put out. And right now, I don't know what the next book is. There's not even a title that's been released, but we know that there's already a studio that's bought the rights to it. We don't have a title, and we know that a studio's already gotten it. Stephen King is one of the very few writers, and let's plug another podcast here with Horny Little Book Club. They have a lot of that they cover with the romanticy thing. I think that you're now starting to see a lot of that with the big romanticy writers, with like SJM. With I'm gonna draw a blank here, but the lady who does the Imperium series with Fourth Wing. So a lot of those big fantasy it's because my wife and Horny Little Book Club. You've got you've got a cult following, and those people are going to read it with vigor. And so that is not a shocker that they're going to pick it up, but I think in the same sense that you've got that with King, and so bringing it back to Kubrick and King.
100%. Yeah.
That's the peanut butter jelly combo for me. It's the classic. It is I'm
with you.
Just his visual sanitary clean visuals of Kubrick, and he does Isolation well, obviously, with that and Space Odyssey, and then you've got King, and so I think that was the match made in heaven or hell. Yeah. Does he like
hell,
that?
Yeah.
I know
King
King is hit and miss on
King
on movies. Okay.
Oh.
Does he? I thought so.
Oh no.
I thought that was one.
King hates The Shining. Him and it was I think he's actually kind of backtrack on it a little bit.
I would imagine because Kubrick had an incredibly tense personality. I mean, like we talked about this in the last episode. Shelley Duvall, right?
He was he broke people making that movie.
Yeah. So, incredible lists, truly. Yeah. I think 1 through 5, I think those were really good. And, honorable, I think we have to go through honorable mentions because there's so many that we didn't talk about.
I think these are great.
Yep.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Those,
off the top of my head, Lost Boys.
Videodrome.
And Fright Night. More Vampires.
The Fly. I mentioned it, but Gremlins. And you mentioned it, Poltergeist.
The Fly, of course.
Our namesake, Slumber Party Massacre.
Yeah. 100%. Hey. Written and directed by a female. Just throwing that out there.
The Reanimator.
Oh, it's
the H.P. Lovecraft adaptation. Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, but it's been a bit.
It's
been a bit.
Oh, good, dude. Yeah.
I think I was because
That's one of those covers that jump out at you at Blockbuster.
Yeah. And would you call that a B film?
I would.
Like a B? Okay.
I would.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if I'm missing anything. I mean, like,
the guy that was in it wasn't in much else. Like, yeah.
Prince of Darkness.
Prince of Darkness is a creep show.
Creep show, obviously. So the two like vine covered people in Creep Show, every time I think of them, which is very rarely, but when I think of them, I think of the family, the murder hobo family that comes out of oh my god, the horror comedy, Cabin in the Woods. You know, where they choose because they're like, you know, the
they come up
murder
out of the
rednecks.
Swamp. Yeah, dude.
Covered the swamp. Yeah.
It makes you think of that. Oh, gotcha.
Just in visual only. Because they're also, you know, kind of look like they come out of a swamp. Oh, the original Hitcher.
Duh. Yeah.
The original.
Toxic Avenger.
American Werewolf in London.
Duh. Fucking duh. That would have easily made one of our lists.
It has made one of yours once, right?
Yes, it has. It did for Creature Features, I believe.
Oh, body horror.
You're right. The transformation.
And then obviously Pet Cemetery.
Can't go wrong, dude.
Oh, sorry. One more. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. The launch of Michael Rooker.
One of the most brutal films ever made.
Great. Yeah. So obviously, I mean, if you looked at just our honorable mentions, or really the list and honorable mentions alone, I mean, I think you're going to see the variety, right?
Yes.
Obviously, you know, our first several episodes that we did were all niche. You know, they were all specific to a subgenre of horror, but you know, with King, he was a little all over the place, but still very King. This one, I think, is the first one where we've been able to show you what one decade could do, and it's all over the place. I think that's what's been fun about this episode is that the 80s had everything. It had creature, it had body horror, it's had folk, it's had religious, it's had horror comedy. Yeah. So,
it was brooding and at the same time electrifying.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Yeah, I think that the telltale sign for me of a good retro horror film is if I can go back and be unsettled. I may not be scared, especially if I've already seen it. If I can still be unsettled by it, it did its job.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I think that's the thing is like, you know, when you go back and you rewatch The Usual Suspects, super cool twist for one time.
Yeah. And then after that, the twist is even still kind of goofy.
Yeah. Because the rewatch becomes a little silly. But, you know, I think going back and that's for me what makes a horror film great is when you can go back and rewatch it and you can look through and see that's clearly those practical effects are clearly not blood. They're clearly retro and whatever, and still it makes you uncomfortable. I mean, going back to your number two with the Thing.
Yeah.
Those practical effects are at points in time campy, and you can tell that they're fake. They're not like the kind of real that make you gut wrench. No. And yet, that dog scene.
The Spider-Man.
Yes.
That shit is gnarly, dude. You got a dead homie?
Go first. I think I've got one.
My dead homie is one I've been sitting on for a while.
Okay.
It's one of my favorites. It's in The Lost Boys. And Corey Haim is getting attacked by a vampire. And he pulls back his bow and arrow with a stake on it. And he lets go, and it hits this vampire in the chest and drives him backwards into a stereo.
Yeah.
And then electroshocks him while he's got the stake in his heart.
Yeah.
And Corey Haim just goes, and then Corey Feldman pops up and goes, "Death by stereo."
I forgot about that one. Death by stereo. That's great.
I love it, man.
So there were actually a couple entries from Killer Clowns from Outer Space that I wanted to talk about, but
nice.
I think the one that gets me every time is Maximum Overdrive with the truck-mounted soda vending machine that kills the man with the barrage of soda cans to the head.
That's fucking great. Yeah.
It's very Maximum Overdrive.
I forgot that was in that fucking movie, dude. I can see it in my head now.
Yeah, just wallops him. Yeah, it's so funny. I don't know
really
what they
good.
were going. It's also uniquely 80s. That's why I wanted to do it. I think both of our dead homies were uniquely 80s. Dead by Stereo and just the sort of campiness of just getting machine gunned by a vending machine. By product placement.
Yep, that's so 80s.
For our own podcast and signing off, we have launched our network. There are tons of fantastic podcasts, not just ourselves, to check out. So,
absolutely.
So Horny Little Book Club already been plugged in here. If you or your partner's big into the romanticy, the literary romance, books in general, fantastic one to go check out.
Absolutely.
Talk about the one with You and Love.
Okay, we've also got on the network, we've got That Don't Work For Me, Brother, a wrestling podcast for Marks by Marks. Every week
I love that.
Yeah, every week we take a look at an individual persona from a different promotion or a different era of wrestling, and we do a deep dive on that person. We watch some matches, we critique some matches, we try to get a feel for their career and their work as a whole. And we also just talk shit and have fun. You can also check out the Black Manifold Transmissions. That is an improv.
I think a lot of the people that listen to this will really dig the eeriness of that.
Yes, it's an improv comedy show and heavy metal music review show, but think of it as a combination of Mystery Science Theater and Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
It's a wild ride through the cosmos with Break Savage and Old Smog.
Which one was the one with the I think you got a trucker friend?
Yes, that's Black Manifold.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
I'm sure there's some real fun stories with that as well.
I think you're thinking of another one on that's coming soon, late for load in.
That's the one that when I talked to Erie, that's what I was talking about.
Got you. Yeah. And let's see. Yeah, you can check us out at rebelwoaclue.com. That's rebelwoaclue.com.
Yeah, and I think we're going to have some other fun stuff come out as we grow as a network, and more formats to engage with us. And so we'll tell you more about that.
In the meantime, be sure to check under your bed for the monster and check over your shoulder for the boss. It's the end of the luncheon.
Death has come to your little town, Sheriff. You can either ignore it or you can help me to stop it.